Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Leadership Heart Podcast with Sandra J. Horton, the Growth Catalyst. Oh, good day, good day. And my beautiful friend popped up. Hello, Fred. Thank you, everyone. Welcome to the Leadership Heart Podcast. My beautiful friend popped up. Hello, Fred. Thank you, everyone. Welcome.
Hello.
Okay. There we are. Thank you. And welcome, everyone. My name is Sandra Horton, and we are live on the Leadership Heart Podcast with the exceptional Fred Moskowitz. Thank you so much, Fred, for being here today. I want to honor and really read this exceptional bio that I have been given by someone who I absolutely admire, someone who I actually met on and through Clubhouse, who inspires so many hearts around the globe. And, you know, Fred, you're known as the alternative investment expert. You know, Fred is a keynote speaker. He is a trusted mentor, a best-selling author. He has been making an impact by sharing his unique results in his oriented education and actionable steps on wealth building, which I love, powerful relationships, mindset, and success. Not only that, but I know what I've experienced is that Fred has a passion, a true passion to help people succeed financially along with personal investment success, where you set the stage for delivering an impactful message. Truly, his unique style is engaging. It's filled with valuable learning lessons and captivating stories. And I love a good story, and that's why I'm so excited to be able to share with you. But beyond this, what we know to be true, and I've heard you speak as well, is the audience and teams love your authentic and powerful nature, where you drive results that people truly feel. And in each conference that you attend, you have been doing so around the nation. And as well, you take pride in collaborating with investors to help them grow and profit in the note space, as well as being a trusted and valued resource in the arena of alternative investments. And I want to dive into the alternative investments, Fred. So please, let's make sure we do that. But importantly, congratulations, like me, you are an author, and I know you also have and a part of it as a collaborative author as well. We're going to get into this whole mindset around Think and Grow Rich in a second, but you also have a new book. It's entitled The Little Green Book of Note, Investing. Wow, has just recently launched. So thank you so much, Fred, for being here on the Leadership Heart Podcast. Let's get into this.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you. It's great to be here. I'm excited.
I'm excited to have you, and welcome to all those who are listening now or on the podcast a little bit later. You know, finances is an interesting place and space for me.
Yeah.
In that if you are not grounded, if you are not right in your beautiful mind, what happens? Our finances are not perhaps in the best place we would like to be. So, you know, let's begin at the beginning, Fred. How have you been able to tap in to understand that link between wonderful financial management and success? How have you been able to do that? Let's share that now, because I'm sure many people are very interested in this.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Sandra. You know, let me tell you, I feel that a lot of people don't have a good mindset, or not the best mindset around money and around handling money. And this can really apply to anything, right? But how many times have you heard someone say, "I'm terrible with money. I don't know what to, I don't know what to do with my money," right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
and so what does that do? That just sets the stage. You're future pacing yourself.
Mhm. Yes.
And it's like you're declaring how things are going to be for you. And oftentimes your life is going to match that. Now, here's the interesting thing for all of us as humans, we have this unique gift given to us by our creator, that we have domain over our mind, over our mindset. And it it starts with a shift, working to shift that
Mhm.
viewpoint, that mindset. There's negativity around money. How many times have you heard things like money doesn't grow on trees, money is the root of evil, all of this? You know
Mhm.
what? Money doesn't grow on trees, really? Did you
Exactly.
ever did you ever stop to think about what money is printed on and where that came from? Right?
It's so
It's
true,
funny.
Fred, and,
Yeah.
I listen to what you're saying, and I go, "Wow, this really resonates for so many people." We have these beliefs, these
Yeah.
attitudes, and ways of thinking about not only ourselves, but our relationship with money.
Yeah.
With our
Yeah, that's
ability, and you're a relationships kind of guru here. So can you lean into that little bit of relationship building? What are those maybe top 3 tips of how do you build a better relationship with money, perhaps?
wow. Relationships is something that, for me as a person involved in investments, it's super important. That's one of the key skills is relationships. But back to your question, relationship with money, right?
Mhm,
If you think about this, money is is an exchange. It's a medium of exchange. And so you can think about it as energy. It's energy,
mhm. I agree.
and it ebbs and flows into your hands and out all the time. And so that is one of the main concepts. I in my business in investing, right? I have run some really large projects involving real estate and different things. And so a lot of times there might be a negative stigma around, oh, you're investing in real estate and you're taking advantage of people, and all of these silly things. Well, it's not the case, not at all. Let me tell you, real estate people involved in real estate, they're creating housing, right? And the ones that are good at it create nice housing, and people need that. Everyone I know prefers to live indoors, right? We all do.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so when you come to the marketplace to deliver a superb product, then there's going to be a huge demand for that, right? Whether you're involved in renting apartments or building houses to sell, whatever you do, there's always a demand for that. And then think about this, right? How many people are involved in a single real estate or an investment transaction, right? Let's
Lots.
say someone, this is very common here in the US, and I'm sure where you are in Canada as well,
Yeah.
right? People go and they'll buy a property that is dilapidated and maybe not kept up to date. They'll buy it at a low price, at a discount, and then go in and start renovating it, right?
Mhm,
And then all think of all the people that are going to become employed by these activities, right? The construction team that you hire, the people that work in the factory to make tile and lumber and nails and screws and paint and all of those products, right? What
mhm.
about the local pizza shop down the corner that delivers a pizza order down at lunchtime for the
Yeah.
crew to have lunch, right?
And
all of
they're
that.
yeah, they're in demand.
So you have all of this,
Yeah.
think about that. All this money is being exchanged and flowed all around, and that's powerful. That's powerful. And so all of this starts with a single person that decided, I'm going to do a project
Mhm.
and invest money in it and create a whole bunch of jobs and a whole bunch of prosperity that just spreads throughout. And then in the end, you have a finished product. You've brought value to the marketplace. You have a property you can list to sell or rent, whatever you do, but you've touched many lives along the
Mhm.
way. And in the end, someone moves into that residence to live there and they love it because you did a good job and provided a superb product
Mhm.
and you made a profit,
Yes.
right? That's the high level 30,000-foot view looking at that. And so
I
you
love
see this going on in every city and town
it.
everywhere. And so, anytime I hear people saying, "Oh, we're getting angry at developers because there's gentrification in the neighborhood and all of this stuff,"
Mhm.
uh, think about the impact that has so many positive ripples all throughout the community, all throughout the economy, and it's all around that energy of money moving around.
Yeah, and it's not scarcity, Fred. What I'm hearing you say too is it's about your mindset, it's about your attitude. And I do want to make sure that we go into some of these unique places and spaces that you are just very passionate about, which is some of the work, if I can pivot, because I firmly believe in the Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And I
Yes.
know you have been doing some
Yeah.
wonderful work and a co-author of this amazing series that's based on Think and Grow Rich. And I really want to dive into, like, even in chapter one, and I know that each of your modules that you do, your volumes, kind of starts. And the first one is about thoughts are things. So you were
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about energy and about the flow, and that really gets into what we think becomes. And so
Absolutely.
how can you guide, what are your suggestions, because you're very successful in, like, what you were just sharing as well. It's about the beliefs, but the thoughts. How have you been successful in training your mind to really work for you?
Oh, this is such a juicy question. I mean, we can
Good,
take
I
this
like these questions.
so many different ways, right?
Yeah, you bet.
Sandra, I feel that everything starts with gratitude.
Mm,
Everything.
yeah.
Be grateful for the things you have in your life. As we know, right? Our beautiful friend Rex Sykes teaches
Yes.
this, right? In his books and in his workshops. He teaches about what you focus on and what you focus on is what you bring about. It will expand anything that is. And so if you focus, right, you have, as I said before, we all have the dominion to
Yeah.
decide. So you can focus on what's going bad in your life, or you can focus on what's going well in your life. And so
Mhm.
starting out with gratitude, everything starts from there, right? We
Yeah.
all have things. You woke up this morning, right? There's some people that did not,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Uh,
True.
we have
Unfortunately,
safe,
but true.
yeah, we have a safe place to live. I am sitting in the morning enjoying my coffee I made with great coffee beans, freshly ground. The smell is amazing, invigorating. I love it. I really enjoy my coffee, and I will sit down and write a little bit about what I'm grateful for.
Mhm.
The great phone call I had yesterday with a
Mhm.
friend, with an investor, the great podcast interview I had with Sandra Horton, right?
I love you. That's
Everything.
awesome.
everything, right?
Yeah.
It starts with gratitude,
Yeah.
and every day you find things that you can be grateful for and that you can celebrate,
Yes. The
right?
celebrate's a big piece. Hey, Fred, like,
Yeah.
for many, I would like for my, viewers to think about that. How are you bringing gratitude into your life?
Yeah.
That's that key because there's different aspects of that gratitude. And so, yeah, go for it, Fred. Let's dive into that whole
Yeah,
aspect.
let's talk about this. How do you celebrate, right?
Yeah.
It starts out by, for me, this is what I do. I write it down. I want to write down 3 to 5 things every day that were my wins. It could have been like I said, a phone call that went well. I did a great podcast interview, and I really connected on a deep level with the host, and
Mhm.
we talked about amazing concepts and ideas. I did an investment that yielded a nice profit that went well. Um, I had a conversation with a friend that was not feeling well,
Mm.
and they left the conversation feeling much better than they did when they started. Just
Mm.
write these things down, and maybe if you have something more significant, maybe you text it to a friend and share. Maybe you go on a clubhouse in a clubhouse room and talk about it and share. Maybe it's a big thing and you go and celebrate by going out to dinner, or you go and throw a cocktail party, right? There's no
I like
limit.
that one.
Do what feels
Yeah.
right, but
Yes.
make it a point, large or small, celebrate the wins every day, because when
Yeah.
you do that, it builds momentum and you feel
Mm.
good and you focus on that, and that grows and grows and it creates a snowball effect.
Yeah. And
So
Fred, what I'm thinking
if
is
that's the
too.
way you start your day, how are
Yeah.
you going to feel the whole day, right?
Absolutely. Sorry, I had a bit of a glitch there. Thanks. Just a little tech issue there. So yes, thank you. I absolutely agree, Fred, with the momentum building. And part of that in which I love is I felt your enthusiasm, your motivation to share. And I hope that as people are listening to this, that they tune in to the resonance, the tonality. These are key pieces of us to feel it fully, right? And I think the other piece is desire, and that lands right into the whole Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
How have you been able to focus on your desire? And what is it that you desire? Like, how have you really been able to be successful in identifying the desire, your passions, and then how do you share it?
Yeah, that's really important. It we hear this all the time. What's your why? Do you know what your why is? Why do you do what you do? Why do you do the work you do? Is it because you ended up in a job by default through circumstance, kind of like you're floating on a raft in the river and just getting blown around by the wind? Or was it intentional? Was there intent? Was it a goal you're working towards?
Mhm.
But are you purposeful about that? And I'll talk about this. A book that I found so influential for me
Mm.
is it's called Start with Why by Simon Sinek. It's
Yes.
a powerful little book, and it really helps you to think about what it is that inspires you. Are you doing work that lights you up? And I definitely spent many years doing work that I enjoyed, but I wouldn't say it lit me up.
Makes a difference.
And
Yeah.
and sometimes we just don't even notice. We don't even notice. But some of the ways to think about this, right? If you let's say you didn't need the money, would you still do the work you do?
Mm.
Let's say you had all your all the money you needed was taken care of for you. Someone else, right? You didn't need the money. You inherited it, whatever. You won the lottery. You did a nice investment deal where you're set. Would you still do the work you're doing, or would you do something else?
I've been
And
doing what exactly I'm doing, Fred.
exactly, yes, that is it. That is it. And you know something? I
Um,
spent a lot of time. I had a long, successful career working as a computer engineer,
mm,
decades,
wow.
20 years. Yeah, I love the work. I love the technology. I love the work. But here's one thing I saw a lot
Mm,
is in the corporate world, people come and people move on, right? They leave jobs, right?
mhm.
And here's the thing that I learned. There's two reasons why someone leaves a job. Two primary reasons. The first one is they quit their boss.
True.
The second one is the job they're doing, it was not aligned, not in alignment with their purpose, with their why.
Mhm. Yeah, I
And
agree.
it's so if you think about it, think about that, you will see this
Mm.
it's just a repetitive pattern.
Yeah, and many people stay there too, Fred. This I would offer for reflection. It's we have to get in touch within ourselves, don't we? And I would
Yes.
love to kind of lean in. How did you get in touch with that inner essence of you, as a very high powered, influential man who's accomplished a lot in your life? You were doing the job,
Yeah.
but what you've just expressed is it wasn't perhaps aligned to your fullness. How did you go within? That's always the question. It's like, I have all of these things. Did you have a life moment? What was it that really made you go, I need something, I want something, I'm sensing something? Like, what was that?
Wow, what was that? I would say a big turning point for me, that happened, earlier on in my career was I ended up do you mind if I share a little story here?
Yeah,
That
please.
I
I
can
love stories.
share a story. Um, One day, I found myself sitting on a chair on the beach in Brazil, in northeastern Brazil, and I'll never forget this. It's so hot, the hot sun glaring down on me. It was a beautiful day, and I was sitting there in a chair practicing bossa nova rhythms with my guitar, and it was so peaceful, so relaxing. I was having such a great time,
Yeah, I can imagine it.
and it was so calm,
Yeah.
right? And so that day, I realized it was in such contrast to the environment I had just left from.
Mhm.
And what happened was that I had just lived through the bursting of the dot-com bubble
Wow.
because I was working at a lot of startup companies. We had the bursting of the dot-com bubble, and then that was immediately followed by the September 11th terrorist attacks, and the whole tech economy was in
Just
shambles.
yeah.
Yeah, and I lost my job.
Wow.
And so I traveled to Brazil. I wanted to study music and be in a
Mm,
whole different environment. And so that's what I was doing there. But as I was sitting there,
mhm,
um, a lot of thoughts came to me. But what I realized was that I had been spending years and years of my life building somebody else's dream and not working on my own.
mhm,
And so this feeling of being disappointed with myself, that's what I felt.
mm,
Let me tell you, Sandra, that
mhm.
feeling of being disappointed with yourself is the worst emotion in the world.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Mhm.
And so what I did was I used that to really fuel what I wanted to do. I said to myself, okay, what are you going to do? Now what? What's
Mhm.
next? Right. And,
Yeah.
and so that led me to start educating myself about investing and investing in alternative investments. And specifically, I wanted to build up income for myself so I wouldn't be relying on that paycheck for my job. And and I did that. That's what I did. I eventually went back to work and continued my engineering work that I enjoyed, but now I was starting to build up other income. And one day came the day where I was earning enough money coming in every month from my investments to cover all of my living expenses. And from that point forward, I realized that now I was going to be working because I wanted to and not because I had to. And it was a huge mind shift for me.
And again, it comes back to that mind shift. Hey, Fred, like, and I thank you for opening up and sharing your story because that's very personal. And I feel that like it was that moment of the aha moment to say, wow, I need to do something different. And the work that you do is to help people then get into action to find resources to be able to do just that. So now
Yeah.
that you're in this beautiful alignment, I want to kind of turn and you'll see I'm kind of going through the Napoleon Hill Think and Grow Rich a little bit here for everyone.
Yeah.
Can you share just quickly a quick pivot here
Mhm.
into the book, the volumes that you speak on this as well in terms of the next step. So, how did you get your mind? How did you reprogram, repattern, kind of through whether it's auto suggestion or other ways to get yourself into that action space? Your heart's ignited. You're taking action now. What did you do for your mind? That's that key piece.
Yeah, I feel this very strongly about this. One of the most important factors
Mm,
is the people that you surround yourself with.
yeah.
The people that you surround yourself with, it makes such an impact. And we've all heard this as children, right? Watch out the friends you're running with and the friends you keep. And it's so true. This doesn't
It
just go for children. It goes for adults.
for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All of our lives. The people that you spend the most time with, that Jim Rohn quote, you become the average of the 5 people you spend the
Yep.
most time with. And why is that? Because if you take in a look at that, the people that you're around, they influence you on so many levels. Subconsciously, the conversations you're having, it is a major influence. And so if if you look at the people you're around, you start to talk like them. You start to
Mhm.
eat like them. You start to drink like them. You start to listen to the same things they listen to, watch the same media that they watch. You read the same books. You talk about, right? You talk about books. So it's the conversations you're having, it's the messaging you're getting exposed to, right? And I
Mhm.
always say if you want to up level your whether it's financial or in any area of life, in business, if you want to up level, then start hanging around with people that are at the level that you want to get to,
I love
because your
that.
conversations are going to start to change. The conversations you're having, the problems that people are talking about, it's on a whole nother level. And so what will happen is that starts to lift you up. And the converse of that is also true. If you're hanging around people that are negative, that are not making good life choices, that have issues with money, that pulls you down.
Yeah.
And so it works both ways. And so I always say, start with that. Look at the people around you and see, is that where you want to go? Is that what you aspire to? Or do you want to make maybe make some adjustments?
Mhm.
And I'm not saying to go and kick people out of your life or anything like that,
Can happen.
but you can change and prioritize who you're spending time with.
I really like that, Fred. And sometimes in the work that I do, I call that a personal inventory. And so really looking at the people, like writing their names down and doing like a plus or minus, like, do they give you energy or do they take the energy away? You
Yeah.
talked about pacing earlier. It's like these people are unique in your life. What do you do with them? And I think those are key pieces. But
And
in those moments, so now you're changing and you're moving into which we know, which is very powerful, is like surrounding yourself with these powerful, motivated, positive, winning kind of attitude people who are moving forward in their lives. We talk about this, and it's in the book as well. Think and Grow Rich. And Fred, can you quickly do a shout out to the book, not only your book but also the book that you're a collaborative author with? I think you
yeah,
have.
absolutely. It's called The 13 Steps to Riches.
Yeah.
And this is all based on Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. And in it was that was written in 1937, right? So long ago, and all the lessons in there
Mhm.
still ring true today. And so he discusses 13 principles. And what we've done in this book series is take each of the 13 principles and analyze them and write about them. And so there's a volume on desire, on auto suggestion, imagination, decision, masterminds, the subconscious mind, imagination. And what I love about this project is we all of the us authors in the book, we go back to the original work of Napoleon Hill
Mhm.
and analyze the chapter, internalize it, and start thinking about what stories do we have to share
Mm,
in this context and examples. And it
powerful.
causes you to really go deep internally and think
Mhm.
about that. And this is, I know I talk to so many people, Sandra, that they tell
Mhm.
me they read Think and Grow Rich once a year.
Yeah, I have it
They
by my bedside manner, like
the
right
third
on my bedside, and
yeah,
I'm like, "Okay, what do I wanna flip to today?" Fred, I can't believe we're already been like 30 minutes, and there's so much I still wanna ask you. So, I'm like, of all the things that you've learned, all the things that you do, if you had 3 top tips or strategies to
mhm.
truly live, your best life successfully, integrated, what would they be with all your beautiful experiences that you have?
Number 1 is to never to be a lifelong learner. Always
Mm,
be open to learning new things. Think about this, Sandra. How many people have you met that have the feeling like once you finish high school or finish college, I'm done learning. Don't
mm,
even crack a book ever again. There's a statistic, it's like 40% of adults, they never read another book after they finished their education for the rest
wow.
of their lives. I mean, it's high. That's so sad.
It's so
I
sad.
like to I love being a lifelong learner, being curious, learning. There's always new things to learn. There's new technology, there's new ideas, there's new
Mhm.
concepts. And learn, never stop, never stop. There's always growth to be had. And I in, invite all of you, be a lifelong learner. That's the best gift that you can give to yourself. And
Mm,
that applies to any line of work you're in, right? For me, especially with investing, there's always strategies. There's always new things to learn about. But this applies to anything, right? The world is advancing at such a rapid pace.
Mhm.
And I think that this was accelerated even more so during the past few years of the pandemic. Think of the new technologies and the new things that have come about and exploded.
There's been a lot.
Yeah, I mean, a lot. It
That's a
just
lot,
seems like
right?
the world has just
Yeah.
accelerated, right?
Yeah.
And so I love being curious,
Mhm.
learning, and that's one of the top ones. And another point that's super important for me is
Mhm.
building relationships. That's a skill that will serve you well no matter what you do. Get good at building relationships, at meeting people, networking, find ways to add value to others,
Mm. That's a
right?
good one. Yeah.
Networking is not going out to a meeting and giving your business card out to 400 people. That's not networking. Go deep, meet someone, learn about what they're doing, ask questions. And not everyone is going to resonate with you, but the people that do, you never know. It could turn into a great business relationship or a business partnership or a friend or a colleague, or maybe they will introduce you to someone that can be very impactful for you. There's so many things, and a lot of this, it seems like it's a happenstance that comes up, but then when
Mhm.
you look back and connect the dots and see it's
Connecting those
powerful.
dots.
Right. And
Yeah.
and go right, go to attend events and workshops and trainings. I love doing that,
Yeah.
and learn and get around like-minded individuals. It's gonna really serve you well.
I think these are so powerful, Fred, because what I genuinely feel from you, and this is the cool piece of learning, like even just for myself through, my mentor and is, with Rex Sykes, is the importance of that openness to truly be of value, to be of service. I look at what he has done in his world and his commitments and persistence and
Yeah.
just knowingness that you're there to support, to serve, to bring value. And I know you do that too, and I think that's why you're a great mentor.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandra. I really appreciate that compliment. I mean, I do. I'm stopping pausing this interview to thank you for that compliment. I really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, you mentioned Rex Sykes. That's so important, having mentors, having
Mhm.
people to learn from. Rex is a beautiful soul, a dear friend, and he always has such insights and all these amazing ways to look at things. And you learn, like you said, you learn so much just from conversations, from being around people. Having good mentors is essential, right? And
Yeah.
mentors can be in so many different forms, but having them, like, find the people, someone that you can learn from, that resonates with you, see how you can add value to them. Don't show up asking for anything. Show up from a place of bringing value. And when you bring value to others, when you bring value to the marketplace with a product or service, the world is going to love you.
Yeah.
And you
And
might
that's a
even make
key
some
piece.
money too,
Mhm.
right?
It's a key piece, Fred, and I think that this is a beautiful place and space. Just like I'm an author and I've got a new book coming out as well, and you're an author and you have this new book and other books that are coming out. I'm sure you're in your source, like you are providing value to this beautiful world. So all of for the, viewing listeners now or later, ask yourself these powerful questions. How are you leaning in? What is it? What is the value that you bring? And what we heard earlier from Fred was the ability to stop, to then turn within and decide a new course in his life, where he's directed from his heart, connected, as I always say, connected to your mind, to a higher calling and conscious, a purpose. Ask yourself these very much important questions, because the Leadership Heart podcast is about that, is bringing leaders like Fred who resonate, who are that heartfelt leader, a conscious servant leader as well, because we all have different opportunities to share ourselves, to be and in action to touch lives. And I appreciate what Fred said earlier, Fred, about the ability to make a win-win-win and do all the things that you do, and your example of looking at investments from that lens of, through this development you can touch lives and families and do all these wonderful powerful things that you do. So but it begins with that choice, the choice to go within, to choose that powerful mindset. So as we, kind of wrap this up, I want people to have a chance to connect to you, to learn more about the great services that you offer. So can you share, with the listeners, how can they get a hold of you, Fred?
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you asking that, Sandra. I love connecting with people, talking about investments, talking about strategies. I love that. And so, best way to connect with me, visit my website, which is fredmoskowitz.com. Or if you prefer an easier spelling, you can go to giftfromfred.com, and it will take you right to my website. And I have a special report about investing that I'd be happy to
Mm.
send out for anyone that would like it. You can request it right on the website. And for any of you out there that prefer to use your mobile device, you can text the word money to the phone number 215-461-4433, and then just follow the prompts. And I always look forward to hearing feedback, hearing and meeting folks that are out there, investors, and connecting and building relationships, because
Mhm.
that's what it's all about. And
Yes.
I
Thank
love
thank
that.
you. I
Thank
love
you.
that. Thank you, Fred, for being here, for, providing such great value to the listeners now or when you come live, like through Apple and all the other podcast platforms as well. Please do pick up Fred's great book, his contributing books that he has in the marketplace. Go to Amazon, you can put in his name. Also, I would suggest do pick up Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, that's a
And
classic.
that's the classic. This is the masterpiece that you should have by your
Yeah.
bedside table. And, again, for the Leadership Heart podcast, this is about bringing exceptional people to this platform, to you, to really have those moments of reflection, to look at yourself. This is 2023, so much opportunity and possibility. And no matter where you are in your wonderful life journey, just know anything and all things are possible. It starts with that beautiful choice, not to live in the old then and there, now, here in the here and now, and take the steps to transform, to begin to align your life purpose and then live it. And it starts again by going into our heart. So I appreciate this. We've covered a lot of beautiful things, and as we
Thank you.
rise as conscious leaders, we have learned we have learned about living, and now we can lead. So take on all of these opportunities, these golden nuggets that have been shared today, bring them into your life. And so thank you so much. I look forward to having my next guest on next week. Big surprise. And each day now with our new time, Thursdays at 4:30 to 5-ish sometime. We just go with the
Thank
flow
you.
here. And
Thank you
thank you
so
so much.
much. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, Sandra. I really appreciate you on so many levels and the work you do. It's wonderful.
Thank
And
you. I'm
bringing this
definitely here to
podcast.
transform people. Thank you so much. That's my key in this world is to help leaders and organizations scale, but importantly, I want to ignite the flame of self-love within. And by doing that, we can become these conscious leaders like what Fred is, to live on your purpose. So you get me going. I'm going to keep going.
I love that.
Lots of
Yeah.
purpose and passion here in this kiddo. But I absolutely have to sign off now. So thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, Fred. I'll
Thank you.
catch you on the other side here.